I haven't actually seen the Little Mermaid trailer. I've only seen the part of it that had Ariel because of all the discourse. Wow, this looks like dog shit. Is there something about like the live action remake department in Disney? Like are they all vampires so that the more photons are released by the films they produce, like it makes them sick or something? Why is it so dark? What the the skin tone of Ariel is the only part of this shit that should have been this dark. Holy shit. What the It's so bad. Look at this. Do you guys even remember how fucking vibrant the original animation was? I have been scuba diving. It doesn't need to be this dark under the sea. And even if it did have to be this dark, just lighten it. It's a movie. There's a mermaid. Look at this. Look at this. Look what this is the shot. Look at the what? Is this a horror film? Yeah, what? Is this Outlast? Am I playing Five Nights at Freddy's? What? Okay, no, make this part of the segment. I don't care. Okay, so anyway, at the end of the trailer, horror of horrors, it turns out Ariel is black.
Wish I could.
Which is funny because this is, I think, the lightest, like, color grading we've seen anywhere in the trailer thus far. On the surface! Yep. I never liked the Little Mermaid that much. I found Ariel kind of obnoxious. So, you know, we're already worsening a piece of media I didn't really care about that much. It's just not my favorite of the animated Disney films. Okay, let me get this out of the way. The live action, quote unquote, remakes that have been done by Disney are artistic abominations, and I sincerely believe that everyone who greenlights them at the executive office should be redacted. I'm that was a joke. I don't actually believe that. I really do hate them though. Watch not Adam something. Well, do watch Adam something. Oh my god. I'm out of Adderall. This sucks so much, dude. Okay, do watch Adam something, but also you can watch the YMS video on the Lion King remake, which will in agonizing detail go over the crimes and failings of this of that particular movie. JXC, I believe, did a video on the Mulan remake, and Lindsay Ellis has done a video on the Beauty and the Beast remake. And you should look at all those. Because it's better than watching the actual movies. Okay, great. So anyway, these movies are awful. They look awful. Also, Ariel's black. That's crazy. Okay. Let me just try to meet people halfway here, okay? Can I just make an effort, okay? You know what? We might actually get a bit controversial here, okay? Okay? Are you ready for it? Everyone get your clips ready, okay? Everyone pull out your cameras. Adjust resolution to 8K, okay? Get your tripods out. Line them up, all right? Everyone, it's time for a nice clippable moment, okay? Are you ready? You ready for it? I don't like that they made Ariel black because I think it's part of a long-standing tradition that companies like Disney will do. They will actually undermine progressive representation through this like seemingly obligatory kind of like I don't know how you'd put it, like retrospective, funny term here, whitewashing of the original content, you know? It's kind of like how they had the gay character who showed up for 2 seconds and did a brief dance with another guy in the Beauty and the Beast remake. It's like how in the Lion King remake they had the lady lion be like more aggro or something, so she had more of a personality or whatever. I don't necessarily have an issue with updating media to make it more progressive, but the problem is none of those pieces of media were actually more progressive. In fact, in the Mulan remake, it was actually quite reactionary. You can see the JXC video if you want like a more in-depth breakdown of why this is. But the original Mulan, by the way, Mulan is my favorite of the original Disney animated movies. The original Mulan, spoiler alert, I guess, you know, about a woman who pretends to be a man to join up for the war effort against the against the Huns so that her elderly father doesn't have to go. It was all about how Mulan was able to use guile and trickery and an unconventional attitude towards traditional expectations in order to succeed in areas where traditional attitudes weren't going to let you win. At every point in Mulan's story, she succeeded when she did because she was unconventional, you know? It wasn't allowed for her to join the military. She chose to anyway. When she stopped the Huns at the mountain pass, when she fought against what's the name of the big bad in Mulan? She never did it because she was faster or stronger than anyone else. It's because she was smarter. Shan Yu, thank you. And her biggest advantage at the end of the day was her willingness to defy traditional expectations when it came to how she handled conflict. Firing the rocket at the mountainside to trigger an avalanche rather than firing it at the Huns themselves. Using a fan as a weapon against Shan Yu. Using fireworks as a weapon against, like every time, you know? And then in the Mulan remake, she's actually exceptional because she has magical fighting spirit. And the reason why it's good for her to be a soldier is because the universe has decreed upon her a natural fighting ability. Therefore, it's logical that she be a soldier. In the logic of the live-action remake, it has nothing to do with her defying tradition or expectation, or overcoming or subverting the regimented society that she was born into. It's just, oh, well, she's naturally a very strong fighter, therefore she should be in the military. Aha. It's not a subversion of tradition at all. And it makes sense because the Mulan, the live-action remake, was largely made for a Chinese audience. An audience that is, compared to Americans, relatively conservative and traditional, particularly when it comes to Chinese values, for reasons that, probably make sense intuitively to you. In the original Mulan, the animated film, it ends with the emperor and all of China bowing down to Mulan, which, by the way, still a banger scene, like, wow, even now, like, even with all the cynicism packed on for, incredible stuff there. Very much like the end of The Return of the King, any scene in which the humble are given honor by the noble, just phenomenal, great trope there, fantastic stuff. So sorry, I'm a bit off topic here. The point that I'm trying to get at here is that Ariel is not black here because of any kind of progressive sentiment or any activist or whatever else. It's because the studio execs at Disney are trying to fulfill a mandatory optical progressivism quota that they engage in with every movie that exists to serve no purpose other than to sort of dissuade progressives from giving them shit for the movie. That's literally the only reason. Now, I want to point out that just because the changes that are made are incredibly cynical, that doesn't necessarily mean they're negative, and it doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't people who give a shit who are party to them. So you can have executives write off on like or sign off on like a really cynical progressive idea, and then they hand it off to the artists and the developers, and those people do an incredible job with it, or they're really passionate about it, Though obviously with live action Disney remakes, you're not going to see a tremendous degree of quality no matter who's involved because of just the nature of these projects. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with cynically invoked progressivism. The issue that I have is that I think it's taking up space for actual progressivism that people could really be pushing for in these movies. It seems like whenever they're doing these remakes, they roll like a dice on like what element of the movie they're going to make more woke. And I'm using the word woke here the way the conservatives will because I think that's how the studio executives think about it. In short, my criticism is thus. My issue with Ariel being black, or with the Lion King woman girl boss scene, or hell, with Endgame having all those women lined up at the end there for their like little screenshot girl boss segment, or the gay, Beauty and the Beast remake guy, or the fact that in the Beauty of the Beast remake, Belle had to be like an inventor for some reason. Like more so, like she had to like invent the washing wheel, and everyone hated that she could read, and but just like a whole like everything stacked on. The problem that I have is that people like the Quartering are going to look at this and sneer and say like that's so woke. And you know what? The executives at Disney are doing the exact same thing. They're just profiting from it. That's it. My argument is that all this bullshit is a product of the people in charge having the same attitude towards racial and gender inclusivity as the conservatives and reactionaries. Does that make any sense? I think that the executives are sneering. I think they're holding their breath. I think they're going, all right, well, we have to make something woke to make this sell to the modern audience. And they roll a dice, and it's like, oh, Ariel's black now, It's a soulless cash grab movie that's going to make like a bajillion dollars anyway, no matter what I say about it. And I know for a fact that this decision had to be greenlit at the highest level. A level packed full of people who fucking hate black people. Just sort of averaging out the attitude of your average executive at a media company. And I think it genuinely dilutes discourse. Does that make any sense? I guess to put it another way, I would say in a good production, making Ariel black it would be done with some kind of intentional commentary. That is to say, not that a person needs a reason to be black or that a mermaid needs to be white or anything, but if there is an actual effort to address or amend something, changes should be made with a reason. The Little Mermaid's an existing piece of media. If you're going to change something, it should be deliberate. What deliberate, is this meant to be a commentary on something in particular? I don't think it is. I really think it's a thoughtless, like, skin tone swap. Now, I want to be clear, by the way, the root of this criticism is levied entirely at the cynical and disinterested way in which media executives relate to the products that they sign off on. Is that bad? Oh, man. Let me see. Okay, I think most people understand what I'm saying here, but let me give this another shot, okay? When you do an adaptation of something, when you adapt a piece of media, okay? I think it's important to be purposeful with the decisions that you make. Now, a mermaid doesn't have to be any race because it's a mermaid, So a degree of arbitrariety is not only expected but preferred here. However, we have to acknowledge the fact that these changes are being made in the context of these highly cynical Disney live-action remakes. And in that context, I think it's fair to say that these changes are being made for no other reason than to make an appeal to the progressive crowd or to diversify or broaden the audience. Now, I want to make it clear that shallowness in decision making is motivated by at best cynicism and at worst open racism, which means that conservatives don't have a right to complain about this because they're racist. This is not a criticism that conservatives can make because it is their attitude, their mindset, which produces the lack of thought and the cynicism behind these, top-down, let's give them something woke so they can, so it can go viral on Twitter attitudes. This isn't an argument against a black mermaid. Make every character in the film black for all I care. I think I would have preferred that, actually. Because it would have necessitated some other changes that I could get on board with. I have this sinking feeling, and time could end up proving me wrong, but, like, does anyone else get the feeling that, like, Ariel is black because they wanted something, like they wanted a woke bone to throw to the audience, but Ursula is going to have a bunch of the cooler, like, drag queen elements toned down because Disney doesn't want to attract a, like, conservative rage riot with all of the shit surrounding drag queens right now. Because Ursula's behavior was directly inspired by drag queen culture. She's got that, like, boa thing, the way she sashay, the whole thing. It just gives me the feeling that she's going to be watered down. They're going to de-gay her. And by the way, the exact same way that they did with Scar from the Lion King remake. Scar from the Lion King remake has been seen as like a gay icon for a long time because he's a fucking queen and we all love him. Everyone loves Scar. Who gives a fuck about Mufasa? Like, for the remake, they got back the voice of Mufasa. They didn't bring back the voice of Scar. Isn't that weird? When people think about the Lion King, Scar is undeniably the most memorable character. That's an objective statement there. They got the voice of Mufasa, but not Scar. Does anyone else think that's a bit strange? And then the voice of Scar they went with was just like British villain with deep voice. There was none of the inflection or intonation that made people associate him with the gays to begin with. Do you see what I mean by fake progressivism? Mulan was, I think, a pretty progressive movie in its animated form, and they broke and they flattened everything progressive about it to make it palatable to a broader, like, Chinese audience. They got rid of a lot of the underlying themes. Beauty and the Beast, the original animated film, for all of its flaws, I think was legitimately more progressive than the remake. The remake, in its effort to make Belle come across as like a girl boss and the Beast come across as abusive, actually cheapened their relationship and made the Beast like a lot more unlikable, which means that Belle's affection towards him is more like weird, you know? All the charm that was present in the animated Beast isn't present in the live action Beast, which means that Belle's affection towards him just comes across as kind of random. They even like but Belle's a girl boss. It's optically more progressive, but in reality it's not, you know. The Lion King, the same could be said, girl boss moment, blah de blah, but they essentially like straight wash Scar. Does everyone understand where I'm coming at this from now? It's not about Ariel being black, it's the attitude at the studio, it's the attitude that corporate employs that leads to these changes. And if it leads more black, like, little girls to love Ariel or whatever, I think that's fucking awesome, okay? Because Lord knows, historically, Disney does not have the best track record when it comes to racial inclusivity. And I'm happy to see that remended, you know? I just wish it wasn't a bone being thrown to the audience. I wish it was a real effort at making things more progressive. You can kind of see the difference in attitude between something like this and something like Moana, right? Which was a legitimately progressive movie that was made by people who cared, and the progressive elements weren't just like like window dressing or like surface filler, like tossed in there, but were an actual genuine effort to, you know, integrate another culture and blah blah, you know. Yeah, Moana's a great movie. I like Moana a lot. I hope you all get where I'm coming from. Also, wow, the color grading here is shit. And also, I'm gonna say it, she should have red hair. Like, what? Why is her hair not red? I know it's like red, but it's not red. No, stop saying it's red. It's not red. I've seen the original. No, stop, no, guys, no, stop, no, stop. I don't mean red like human red, the same way that my beard is red. I mean red, like the color red, like you might find on a color wheel. Red. You know, white girls don't have this hair color either, okay? Go to Scotland, you can find maybe 3 people with hair this red naturally, okay? It's not like white people are all walking around looking like, oh, well, she's black, so her hair so by red hair, she has to have, like, red like my beard hair, you know? You wanted them to animate her hair? What? Look, just, the movie's color grading is shit in general, okay? I don't know. What were we doing? Oh yeah, so anyway, now that I've said how I'm racist or whatever, discourse! Conservatives have been losing their mind. Namely, they want to make Ariel white. Oh, and as a quick reiteration, okay? Everything that I've said, every point that I've made, every argument that I just made, okay, is fully incompatible with the conservative argument. I ask only for sincerity in progressivism, or in changes being made to representation, you know, as opposed to hyper cynical, let's broaden the market capitalist bullshit. That's all I ask for. Anyone who says that the solution to this would just have been to keep her white is missing the point entirely. Entirely. Not even missing the point, sort of diving in the opposite direction. Somebody made an AI algorithm to make her white. The future is now. He fixed the Little Mermaid and turned the woke actor into a ginger white girl. Now, of course, when conservatives say woke, they just mean black. There's nothing really subtle about that. That's literally just what they mean. That's it. It's that simple. Reminds me of when with Justice Jackson being interviewed by the Senate for the Supreme Court position, and there was that conservative rag that was like the critical race theorist Jackson, you know, when they just mean black, you know. Down here, they say, please don't misinterpret this in a racist way. I looked through their post history before they deleted a bunch of stuff, and they had liked the N-word and stuff like that. They're like a Nazi, or at least a ethno-nationalist. Obviously, this is kind of like the this is sort of like the a picture perfect representation of the discourse at hand. You know, where people will basically just say, like, just with their full chest, get the blacks out of our movie. Except they'll say woke, like get the woke side of our movie, and then if you go like 2 pages deep in their thread, it's them like saying the N-word, you know. So that's like that's the entirety of the discourse right there, I think. Apparently, people have been talking about some, I don't know, what is this, Chinese? Somebody did this. They said that an algorithm did this, but no, it didn't. This is not an algorithm. This is very clearly a single frame that's been painted over. This was an algorithm. This wasn't. Obviously, you can literally see the paint. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't know why people are saying that's done by. Okay. And if we go over to Premier Racist, the quartering, I don't think the quartering's even the quartering's not even racist really. He just says like he'll say racist things, but he'll say anything, you know? I don't think he has any actual beliefs, so it's kind of irrelevant, I guess. Um he's not so much a racist as he is like a box that people put racist slips of paper into and they fall out the other end. You know what I mean? Let's see. Internet makes The Little Mermaid white and everyone gets banned. Disney savaged. 1.5 million dislikes. And you can see in a classic The Quartering style, we have still in the year of our Lord 2022, we have the goddamn Gamergate screamy ladies right here. Present, I assume, on every thumbnail of every video that The Quartering puts out. Yeah, I'm surprised that Brie Larson isn't here. Yeah. I kind of consider this beneath me. This might sound a bit condescending. Well, wait, it's meant to sound condescending. This might sound a bit conceited, but I completely mean it when I say that I genuinely think that The Quartering is beneath my videos. You know what I mean? Like it would kind of like I feel like this is kind of like the intellectual equivalent of like America's Funniest Home Videos or whatever. Like I would just spend a whole stream watching people on their phone walk directly into telephone poles and bang their head up a little bit. Um, there's not really that much to go off of here, but this is kind of representative of the average IQ of the people who are invested in the conservative side of this controversy. Didn't he already admit he was grifting anyway? He's been doing that for years. He admitted that was grifting to Destiny back in like 2018 or something. He admitted he was grifting to Keffels. I'm pretty sure he's admitted it to me. It's very, very, like, it's not, yeah. It's like, no, it's just very shameless grifting. So he might be grifting, but of course his audience, his very, very, very stupid audience, um, believes what he's saying. I'm just angry Disney has the audacity to keep reimagining their own stories, but worse, instead of imagining new good stuff. I fully agree with this statement, but not with the subtext that they're loading into it. Geeks and Gamers did a video on this. Geeks and Gamers does actually believe the stuff they say, and they're also an outright neo-Nazi. Weren't there some like deleted tweets or something about from Geeks and Gamers where they were doing the full-on like JQ stuff? Ah, yes, there we go. We have the Geeks and Gamers video, which also has the crying lady. Do their viewers really not get tired? Oh my! Well, they're here as well. Can we find her again? I wish I could say that these videos appeal mainly to children, but it's the same picture of her in every one of these. I wish I could say that these videos appeal mainly to children, but unfortunately there are a lot of like older people that go for them as well. They're just kind of dim. I guess you can kind of get that from the thumbnails too. I mean, these thumbnails are very obviously constructed for people with subhuman IQs who also have no long-term memory. I guess I would just feel embarrassed, like clicking through. Yeah, I know I would be embarrassed clicking on a video that had the crying lady on it. 2022. Elsa/Spider-Man Kids YouTube, but for adults. That's actually really good. Yeah, yeah. No, that's actually correct. Yeah, this is just Elsa Gate, but for media critique. Yeah, like that's basically all it is. They'll run up their webcam for like 5 minutes. They'll talk about how a recent piece of media is bad because there are black people in it and that's woke. And then they'll put the same 2 or 3 stock images over the cover and load the metadata with all associated tags. Like, yeah.
And I don't want to upset any mermaids who are watching the show. Violet mermaids, there are pink mermaids, there are black mermaids, there are Latina mermaids, there are mermaids of every ilk. And you know why there can be? Because it's the world that we would like to see better.
You see what I mean with the Elsagate thing? This isn't even a coherent intro right here. Like, how many, like, for a person who watches The Quartering, how many times have you seen this? Does it ever get old? And I guess if it doesn't get old, like, are there, like, any jangling keys nearby that you could look at? Is there, like, a set of wind chimes, like sort of fluttering in the breeze that you could stare at and just sort of be possessed for your entire life? I swear, like, people who can watch this, I feel like you have to have, like, a shock bracelet on. That just zaps you every 5 minutes in case you forgot to breathe and you were just like slowly asphyxiating. I don't watch the Quartering videos ever, and I'm already bored. But okay. Oh my god! Please.
Did not. God.
Okay.
Mother of.
That was a full minute, by the way. That was a full minute. Okay.
God. I did not see this coming. I didn't. I genuinely did not see this coming.
Speeding up.
I mean, the announcement of the
Reimagined.
Whoa, the pitch is off on there. I'm leaving it because that's funny.
Speeding up.
The announcement of the
this is 1.6 times speed. I want you to listen to this. 1.6 times speed.
The announcement of the the new recast with Halle Bailey as Little Mermaid happened like, I don't know, months ago. And now, only now really is the backlash.
It's like crawling through molasses. Do you think that he deliberately slows down his voice so he can drain these out to 10-minute videos? Here, wait. Here is normal speed.
Kind of heating up. In fact, the trailer for Little Mermaid remains on trending, has nearly 500,000 upvotes now. So people are rallying in support of it. And again, I want to point out.
Upvote? It's YouTube. They're likes. I guess him having Reddit brain shouldn't be too surprising. Okay, back to high speed.
Not Halle Bailey's job to she just took the job. It's not her fault. And people that are like going after her directly, that's not okay. That sucks. Okay, if you believe that they should be following the original Danish folklore, then that's fine. That's a decision you have to take up with Disney, which is what people are doing in spades. 490,000 upvotes, 1.5 million downvotes. 1.5 million downvotes. Is this where people are finally drawing a line in the sand?
With Black Mermaid. This is going to have no effect whatsoever on the money that it makes in the box office, by the way. Everyone online was shit-talking the Lion King remake. It's very in its extent, but everyone online was kind of dumping on it. The Lion King remake is the 8th highest grossing film in human history. Like, people don't really understand. Like, there's not as much of a relationship. The Frozen 2 is higher than Frozen 1, despite Frozen 2 having the cultural impact of like the flap of a butterfly's wings. Avengers: Age of Ultron, the movie that nobody liked, is number 13. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Remember the one that they led the anti-woke campaign against? Go woke, go broke. You have an Asian woman in it. The girl, the tall lady with the purple dress. Go woke, go broke, go woke, go broke. 1.3 billion. The Beauty and the Beast remake. The awful Beauty and the Beast remake. 1.27 billion. It's Disney. Xander Hall said this, how someone changed the title on their House of Dragon shitting review to go House of Dragon review after it did well. Yeah, I saw that. One of these skepto shit, like dipshits, put out a video saying like, why House of the Dragon is failing. And then it's doing really well, and then they changed the title to like House of the Dragon review, you know, so that it didn't make them look like a idiot, you know. Yeah, like these again, like you have to be locked in a critical drinker, yeah, which the name tells you everything you need to know about that person. These people are locked in like eternal online culture war Gamergate brain. There's very little relationship between the stuff they say and the actual box office receipts, because the gross revenue of Disney films comes down to its effectiveness as normie bait, which, like, this is not like a purely political thing, you know? It's outside the realm of just Gamergate. We're talking about mass culture. It just goes way beyond them. Seriously, though, like, look at this. Minions. 1.16 billion. 23rd highest grossing film of all time. Captain Marvel. Worst movie ever. Brie Larson. Woke. It has a woman in it. Woke. 1.12 billion. I'm just pointing out, like, yeah.
It would certainly seem like it, right? I don't really understand. And yesterday,
did you like the Aladdin remake? Panic Stasis, if you weren't a tier 4 sub, I would suggest that you do very unkind things to yourself for even reminding me of the Aladdin remake. Oh yeah, I know. Oh, God. I know. The guy who's capable of replacing the timeless charisma of Robin Williams. It's fucking Will Smith. Ah, yeah, that's hot. Oh, you want to be Prince? That's hot. That's hot. You'll never have a friend like me. Haha. It's rewind time.
Things took an even more interesting turn. By the way, thanks everyone who went to Coffee Brand Coffee yesterday. It is the
oh my god, I need to shill more.
#1 cocoa. If you don't like roast the sell cup orders in today, you'll still get to receive one a day. Or like yesterday, things escalated, and I was not surprised whatsoever. So 2 people posted this out. With 10 gazillion IQ is the initial Twitter account, I guess, who made the video. Then Vandal Libum posted the video. What it was a 7-second side-by-side where they had replaced Halle Berry with some generic redhead.
I get the meme, white people just generic to you? I forget his real name. The Quartering?
Just knew that this was going to be, you know, the shot that sparked 1 billion reads. And within hours, both accounts were suspended off Twitter. Why? I don't know. I've been told by all the leftists out there that mermaids don't exist. And so the race of said mermaids is not relevant. So when you turn Ariel black, that's stunning a progressive. When you turn Ariel white, you're suspended.
No. So first of all, the real reason anyone gets suspended from Twitter is because enough people report them. This stuff is handled by bots, not by actual executives at Twitter. If you make enough people mad, that's that. Additionally, again, I scrolled through like 1 refresh of this guy's feed, and he was liking videos of just saying the N-word to black people. So, you know, there's plenty to go off of, I assume. Probably not the hardest guy to get banned. Also, there is a critical difference here when it comes to, you know, the racial character of what, like, race the mermaid is, okay? And that is to say, conservatives are losing their mind that Ariel is black here. And efforts to make her white are a product of racism. The people who are AI changing black Ariel to white Ariel are not doing so out of some kind of neutral, dispassionate interest in seeing how their software, you know, could race swap people. They're doing it because they don't like black people, as evidenced by "and turned the woke actor into a ginger white girl." So it's motivated directly by racism. It's not some like totally ambivalent, you know, in a world where you could sort of reasonably ensure that a person wasn't racist, you know, like through sort of cultural context, like we're not necessarily in a post-racial world, but we're in an environment where it's not like not everything is being elevated to this like 10 million degree culture war discourse, you know. I don't think there's any real difference between you know, like if you turned a black character white or a white character black or anything like that. I don't think it matters. I don't really care. Um, you know, didn't they just recently say that there's a new Black Panther actor who's going to be white? Who's the new one? Does anyone, isn't it like a second cousin? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? No, that was a joke. Oh, was that a joke? Oh, that's a shame. I'm sad. Was that a joke? I saw a lot of people talking about that. Not that there was going to be a new Black Panther that was white, but like there was like some cousin or something. I don't. Oh no, was it not real? Oh, that sucks. I think the next Black Panther should be white. I believe this. Imagine disagreeing with me and pretending to be anti-racist. Well, anyway. What was I saying? I completely forget. Let's keep going.
Credits to meme artificial intelligence scientist, 10 gazillion IQ. He fixed Little Mermaid and turned the woke actor into a ginger white girl. He says he can fix the entire movie when it comes out with 4 A600, I think are those video cards, in 24 hours. It's over for woke cells.
So, right. Obviously, this is not a race neutral, you know, fix the movie, woke actor, it's over for woke cells. Yeah, obviously. Again, you know, Jeremy here will, it doesn't actually care about anything he's saying. So, you know, pointing out the contradiction here, that is to say that this isn't being motivated purely by a sort of neutral interest in the technology, but rather by an interest in erasing black people. It doesn't actually matter. Hey, wait, if Ariel is black, does that mean that Neptune is going to be black? He would have to, right? Or like, I guess he doesn't have to, but probably. Oh, Triton, not Neptune. Sorry, Triton. It's been a while since I've seen, well, I've only seen the original The Little Mermaid once. I've seen the original The Little Mermaid once, and I've seen, Poor Unfortunate Souls on YouTube like 5,000 times. Yeah. He's played by Will Smith. You want to go up to the surface world? Ah, that's hot. Sorry.
I actually like that name now. And you can see, note for Twitter, this is purely for educational purposes. Please do not misinterpret this in a racist way. I'm just amazed by a high IQ friend who works with artificial intelligence and the stuff he can make. And I wanted to show people his field of study. I suppose this is more like...
Right. What was it? 10 gazillion IQ. Ah! Look who else got yoinked. Something tells me this guy probably had more than a few N-words, in his post history as well.
Probably like deepfake technology, maybe. You know, this is somebody who does this type of thing. You can see for new followers who came from the Ariel thing. If you're interested in doing this for yourself, like with other movies, then go learn some Python, download some AI stuff. It's not as hard as it sounds. Pick related. I made Doomer Girl in 2 seconds. Pretty
interesting. Looks like shit.
And you see meme lords and junk posters are a blessing on the internet. Every torrent site needs to be flooded with this version. Oh my god, I love you. Perfect. Looks 1,000 times better. What about buoyancy? The first AI generated is the first one AI generated. They both look so realistic. I mean, like, the fixed movie must be available for download. I mean, WTF, I love AI now. You know, I think that it's time. Yeah, the Ryan Gosling as Black Panther, I think probably needs to happen too, because
that I agree with. Get to the point. Make a prescriptive statement, please, God. I can't handle this guy for long. I know this is like trudging the bottom of the barrel, but this is what the discourse is like, guys. I'm sorry. You want me to like dip my head in the retard bucket? Like, this is what the retard bucket is like, okay? These are the contents of the retard bucket.
That's a meme, of course. And like,
what? Wait, I'm sorry. I'm gonna pretend to be Jeremy for a second. Wow, That's a good one right there. See, it's an angry NPC Wojak. I bet if I click on this image, he'll start dancing. You know, I'm not going to do that, but yeah, that's pretty good. Sorry, that was just me doing Jeremy for a second there.
And like, it is interesting though, because the people went berserk over this, calling it all sorts of things, when quite frankly, I've been screamed at by leftists all, for the last week, telling me that, what do you mean? It's a fish person. It's not real. What does the race matter? Oh, now it matters. Oh, well, if it isn't your own hypocrisy, you can see what Reject Metric wrote. I can't imagine why.
So obviously this is not actually a hypocrisy argument. It really doesn't matter what race a mermaid is. But that doesn't mean that a clan member can just walk in and go like, yeah, we must purge this movie of melanin to make it acceptable for the white race. And it's like, oh, well, now it matters. How does this guy have a wife? I mean, he's just a grifter, you know? Like, there are a lot of people like him. He's just more open about it than a lot of them. A lot of people give him shit for peeing in his basement, but that's like the coolest thing he ever did, you know? People give him shit for that, but like, yeah, dude. When I get up to pee, I've got a toilet over there, which honestly is like kind of normy. If I just had like a storm drain, or maybe just some sort of like hole in the ground that like there was a chute that like led outside, and it just sort of, whenever I peed, it just sort of launched a river of piss off into somebody's driveway or like a garden or something. I mean, I kind of envy that a little bit.
Why this would make people upset. I've been informed by Twitter that mermaids aren't real, and so it doesn't matter what race they are. I mean, okay. Exactly, they don't even realize their own racism is showing.
I guess the simplest argument you could make is, if we all believe that it doesn't matter, then why did the original post say that they were fixing it by changing the race? Leftists or progressives or whatever weren't saying that the Little Mermaid was being fixed by Ariel being made black. I don't think I've seen anybody say that. Even if they defend the decision, they're not talking about it like it's something that was being fixed. But whatever. Like these arguments kind of like too stupid to even like really like dig into.
I mean, I think, look, so you prefer the CGI Uncanny Valley? I prefer the woman with talent, and that's fine. Like there's so many triggered like usernames with flags in the title and all this kind of stuff. And actually, a lot of people are saying, well, what's woke about the actress? Well, has had some spicy takes. I mean, if you look at, New Little Mermaid and Snow White stars say their modern characters won't be defined by needing a man's love. I mean, I wouldn't say that that's like exactly screaming defund the police.
Wait, why is he pretending that when by woke actress, they meant her political positions and not her race? When they were fixing the woke, when they said they were replacing the woke actress and then they changed her race. Why? Again, like, Jeremy doesn't actually believe anything he's saying here. Ah, the retard bucket. No, God. Hey, do you guys remember when the serfs challenged Jeremy to a debate, and Jeremy was like, only if you do a charity drive and only if you raise this much money for a cause. And then the serfs did that, and then Jeremy pussied out anyway. And then pussied out of a conversation with Keffels. Yeah, he'll be on in 20 minutes, yeah.
In the streets, but, she is clearly one of the wokies. But, as far as I know, there's some other statements that I couldn't necessarily find that I may be attributing incorrectly, so I won't bring them up. But you see this
Melissa McCarthy is going to play Ursula. Who's going to play Triton? Melissa McCarthy is going to play... Man, I know you can go a long way with makeup and CG, but I'm just not seeing it. I don't think she looks anywhere near mean enough. I know you can do a lot with acting and makeup and shit, but I don't think she looks mean enough. I think you need to, like, just go on any season of... You know what? You know what would actually be woke? Have Ursula be an actual drag queen. That would be woke as shit, and also be cool. Just have, like, a fat queen with high eyebrow. Yeah, why? Like, you could easily have a drag queen look just like Ursula, Literally, if I just, like, Google fat drag queen... Her. No makeup. Go for it. She already looks like a sea creature. Perfect. No notes. No changes necessary. Go for it. Just CG some octopus tentacles on and we're good. Sorry. It's stupid. Having her actually be a drag queen would be better anyway, because all drag queens are naturally malicious and psychotic. Not in the way conservatives think they are with like the groomer stuff, but more in like the stabbing each other to death over the last person to get the makeup in the store aisle type thing. You know what I mean? Vicious, vicious people.
Halle Bailey turns white in a Little Mermaid remake video altered by AI. You could see, I wonder if this video is still live on the internet. Okay, they didn't. Okay, here it is. Wish I could be part of that AI. You can see the actual video. I want to mute it because I'm sure I can't use it. You can see it's shot for shot, frame for frame. Clearly a white woman now with red hair versus Halle Bailey. I mean, like, whoever decided to let AI create entertainment knew it would cause massive issues. People over the internet have been throwing random image requests from AI to the result is something quite horrifying. The same can be said for AI-generated videos. Well, someone decided to AI transform Halle Bailey into a white woman for the Little Mermaid live-action remake. You can see the AI-generated video above. The film has been surrounded with controversies. People oddly take issue with Ariel not being white in this new live-action remake. Fans have been coming to the defense of Bailey. Look, I don't have any issue with Halle Bailey, but what's probably happening here is people have, in general, had enough. They've had enough of the race.
How many times have you guys heard that? Holy shit. I swear I hear it like every day. I've heard it every day of my life since 2014. Like, people have had enough. And it's like, in the background, there's like an Asian guy in a TV episode or something. Like that, like I hear that every time. Isn't this what Nazis say? I mean, I don't want to come across as hyperbolic here, but yes, what he's saying here is essentially an iteration of Nazi ideology. Now, again, I don't think he's a Nazi. I don't think he believes anything except for the money he makes. But the common attitude that's expressed in like the Gamergate circles is the idea that there's some kind of like silent majority that's had enough of like racial representation. Like essentially when they talk about like they've had enough with like trans or gay representation, what they're really talking about is degeneracy. And the argument, the people have had enough of the degeneracy. They're finally like speaking like to it. They're finally stepping, you know, against it. That is an essentially fascist one, and you know, one that was, you know, extremely common to the Nazis as well. It was the pretext that they used when they engaged in the book burnings. The book burnings that the Nazis engaged in were, of course, not just of like any random books. It was a lot of it was literature on and research on gay and trans people. As long as anything and everything they deemed Jewish, which was quite a lot. But the precursor there, you know, the pretext was like, we the people, as represented by the Nazi Party, you know, in the SS, you know, we the people have had enough with this degeneracy. Like, our society is crumbling and we're finally speaking out against it. And that attitude, the idea of the people being fed up of, you know, woke degeneracy or whatever, it is, you know, fundamentally a Nazi idea. And of course, the other primary like media critique grifter, Geeks and Gamers, I'm pretty sure actually is a Nazi. So, you know, it's on track.
Swaps. This is number, I don't know, 50 in the last 2 years. You know,
you could reasonably say then the quartering acts as a gateway to Nazis by implications made in videos. Oh, I completely believe that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
From television shows like The Wonder Years getting rebooted with a grand idea of just changing the skin color of the family. People have just had enough. Like, just make new shows. I don't really have any issue with it. And like the left often will say like, would you have a problem with people? Of course not. Of course not. One of my all-time favorite shows is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, probably top 5. So
leaving that one on its own for a second. Yeah, somebody just linked the wiki page for degenerate art, which is always sort of an interesting look through. And I'd suggest you guys actually take a look at this. Not only because it's a way of reminding yourselves that modern conservatism is shockingly close to just flat-out neo-Nazi ideology, just with a few more euphemisms and a little bit less state power, you know? But something that's interesting, it's the case in America, it was the case in America, and it was the case in Nazi Germany as well, which is that the art labeled degenerate was more popular often than the state-sanctioned art. See, it's a big Nazi and Gamergator argument that the real people really want this or that or the other, you know? That the real thing that they want, you know, is some kind of like hegemonic, you know, like normative art that reinforces Western values or something like that, you know? Think Wagner, for the Nazis, you know? They hate abstract art because it's, you know, its meaning is muddled and confused and dissonant. Yes, I've seen the Jacob Geller video multiple times. Phenomenal video. The funny thing is, and we literally just took a look at top grossing films of all time, but a lot of the top grossing films of all time are the woke films reactionaries claim are you know, actually like the people are fed up with it, right? Avatar is like a blatant, naked, anti-colonialist, anti-imperialist screed against the West. You know, you don't have to be like a film studies major to figure that one out. Avengers Endgame is woke Disney. You know, they complained about that plenty. I have never seen the Titanic, but you know, James Cameron, whatever. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, woke, woke, woke. Rey is a woman, woke, woke, woke. Finn is a black guy, woke, 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 woke. Avengers Infinity War, Disney woke. Spider-Man, No Way Home, fat, what is he, Polynesian? What's the best friend of Spider-Man? Also, they made Filipino. Is the girl Gwen or is the girl Mary? MJ. The one he likes. It's MJ? Zendaya? Okay, yeah. So that's woke because MJ is historically white. Jurassic World, I didn't see. The Lion King. You understand what I'm getting at, right? And if you take a look at the degenerate art as it was labeled by the you know, the Nazis, the exhibitions that they would put forward for degenerate art were quite popular. A good parallel to this was blues and jazz music in early America. You see, you know, there was a cultural renaissance in Harlem back in like the 1920s and 30s, and it wasn't that uncommon for white folk to go down to Harlem to go enjoy, you know, the jazzy degenerate music. And they called it degenerate. I mean, the white conservatives of the day, you know, they thought that like blues and jazz, all that black music was like corrupting the white women. I mean, full on like Nazi shit, right? They were saying that stuff before the Nazis were even around. But it sure was popular. I think that, if anything, what we can take from this is the fact that not only are these reactionaries very bad at understanding what humans want, they're also fundamentally anti-life. Because to be alive as a human is to learn and to create, to be introspective, to grow, you know, to explore and to innovate. And they don't want any of that. They want a soulless, bland reiteration of a collection of tropes they associate with their preferred set of conservative values. And they will shut out everything around them while simultaneously enjoying the fruits of the so-called degenerate art they claim to hate. You know, we also call this the person who is transphobic and also a chaser syndrome. You know, they who protest too much. No matter how bigoted they are, they cannot fully suppress their you know, their interest in the perceived deviant, or in the non-hegemonic. Hopefully everyone understands what I'm getting at. Let's finish this shit-ass video. I'm just trying to elevate the discourse a little bit, okay? Like, we're watching the quartering video. I'm just trying to bring this back to something, you know. Yeah, same reason why racists, white racists are the ones who like interracial cuckoldry porn the most.
So, like, you know, I think it's ridiculous.
Sorry, my grandfather had to secretly listen to jazz through British radio because it was banned by the Nazis. He loved Louis Armstrong, and What a Wonderful World was the music played during the wake. Oh, holy shit. I'm very sorry, but, like, also, that's pretty cool.
Whoa, a cutaway? I know. I'll make it quick, I'll make it worth your time. Listen, Republicans have long had an advantage when it comes to online canvassing because they're pretty effective at weaponizing new mediums like YouTube and Twitter to pull people over and actually integrate them into their political campaigning. Democrats have fallen behind in that respect, and that's a serious weakness in their organizing. I don't have the political know-how or discipline to be a political organizer, but I know people who do, and that's why I've partnered with Progressive Victory 2022, which is an organization that's trying to get folks out canvassing, phone banking, text banking, get them to match up with any local campaigning opportunities that they might be able to contribute to. Now, I know these folks. They're real nice. They're real professional. My fans also know these folks because according to this map that my editors are going to put up, there are over 7,000 people who've already signed up for their Discord. Listen, I'm begging you, okay? The primaries are coming up. If you go to vaush.gg/map, you can see not only all the folks who have signed up, hello Pigeon, but you can also see how to sign up yourself. And it's simple as, you go, there's a little Discord server, if you want to give them your email so they can send you opportunities, a lot has already happened. Folks have gone canvassing. Jamal Bowman did a talk. They did phone banking for him. It's been real neat. And honest to God, we're coming up close to the end of the primaries here, so there's never been a better time. I know touching grass is scary, but I swear we talk about so much doom and gloom politics here. Feels a lot better to actually do something, Something off the computer chair, if at all possible. Seriously, join. It's important. If you're American, if you're not, then get the heck out of here. Scram, you goofball.
So you see, it's a mermaid though, a creature of myth and fairy tale. People are just it's like getting thrown right in their face. So you prefer the CGI uncanny valley. I prefer the one with talent. It's a mermaid though, a creature of myth and fairy tale. We are not sure if this is some sort of support or hatred for Halle Bailey and the Little Mermaid. Mermaids are mythical creatures, so they should be able to be portrayed by anyone. No one knows how mermaids look, so let Bailey shine. Is the first one AI generated? Both look so realistic. You might end up watching the same video. The AI generated video doesn't look quite realistic. Halle Bailey as Little.
All right. A typical The Quartering video contains perhaps 3 prescriptive statements, all 3 of which are just calls to hypocrisy for the woke.
That's absurd. The way that the media is reacting to this, having like absolute meltdowns over the whole situation. Also hilarious. They actually suspended both accounts that posted the AI fixed version of Little Mermaid trailer. I was told that mermaids are not real, so race doesn't matter. It's funny when they have to.
A whole article on the Nazis' attitude towards jazz. Wow. I'm not reading this Wikipedia article title out loud. What a refreshingly straightforward expression of one's values here. No subtlety on display. Very much the Nazi equivalent of like Ben Garrison, incredibly straightforward. Black and Jewish? No. This guy's not Jewish. He's just owned by the Jews. That's the implication. It literally translates to N-word music. Well, yes. Was a derogatory term used by the Nazi Party during the Third Reich to demonize musical styles, including jazz and swing music that had been invented by black people. The Nazi Party viewed these musical styles as degenerate works created by an inferior race and were therefore prohibited. The term at the same time was applied to indigenous music styles of black Africans. At the time of the Weimar Republic, Ernst Krenek's opera of Johnny Spielt auf contained jazz musical performances that caused protests among some right-wing ethnic nationalist groups in Germany at the time. In 1930, the American musician Henry Cole wrote in the Millis Journal that jazz interpreted a mixture of African-American and Jewish elements, stating that the fundamentals of jazz are the syncopation and rhythmic accents of the Negro. Their modernization is the work of New York Jews. So jazz is Negro music seen through the eyes of the Jews. Thank you, 1930s. Such views were readily picked up by the Nazis. Their criticisms have included gratuitous use of syncopation and orgies of drums. Orgies of drums? Dude, they're so horny. More statements from the Nazis included such thing as artistic licentiousness and corruption seed in the musical expression. Did anyone here watch that debate between Destiny and Eric Stryker, where Eric Stryker tried to talk about how classical music is objectively superior and jazz is inherently degenerate, and Destiny, who likes that jazz music and went to college for music, tore him apart over it? That was very funny. Indecent dance forms. They went on to scrutinize all modern music of the 1930s as a political weapon of the Jews. Wacky stuff. This makes no sense. It makes plenty of sense if you're a Nazi. Prior to the D-Day landings during the German occupation of the Netherlands, Goebbels' propaganda ministry published pamphlets written in Dutch named Greetings from England, the Coming Invasion. These pamphlets contained in-between statements such as old jazz records and a further full statement declaring, at the celebration of liberation, your daughters and wives will be dancing in the arms of real Negroes. Dude, nothing has changed. Goebbels, one-handed, like writing out the propaganda ministry declaration, and if we lose, your daughters are gonna take BBCs in all their holes. This further equated jazz music with blackness. During the time to stir up racism and anti-Allied propaganda with occupied Europe, Goebbels managed to create a Nazi-sponsored German swing band called Charlie and His Orchestra, whose propagandistic purpose was to win over Nazi support and sympathy from British and American radio listeners through shortwave radio. What were they singing? Additionally, counter-propaganda was used by Allied forces to play upon the fears of the Nazis' banned music. One such example is Glenn Miller, who was a white American jazz musician, initially provided jazz music through radio to Allied soldiers. His same music was used as counter-propaganda by AFN radio broadcasting to denounce fascist oppression in Europe, with even Miller himself once stating, "America means freedom, and there's no expression of freedom quite so sincere as music." Based! This right here is the pro-life take, right here. This is one of the reasons why, like, when you take a look at historical dialogues between fascists and anti-fascists, the fascists will say some nerdy Poindexter shit, like some overalls, four-eyed bullshit, like, no, actually, humans' purpose is to live under the state and lick the boot. And then, like, the anti-fascists will just drop f***ing bangers, you know? They can smash one flower, but they cannot stop the coming of the spring. That's because being anti-fascist is being pro-life. The purpose of this Goebbels-backed counter-propaganda jazz band was to encourage German sympathies, draw attention to World War II Allied losses, convince listeners that Britain was a pawn for American and Jewish interests, and convey German dictator Adolf Hitler's messages in an entertaining form. I want to see the lyrics to the Nazi jazz band, please. Yes! Holy shit! I just Googled lyrics. I'm sorry. Let me try to do this at a jazzy beat, okay? Why are the ships always blinking and sinking at sea? What makes the British start thinking of the cup of tea? It's now the season. The reason's plain what it means. German submarines. What makes the sailors go crazy wherever they cruise? What makes the market go down? What frightens the Jews? Well, that got me, lads. I've converted. This sounds like an extremely on-the-nose bit of environmental storytelling from a Fallout game that has a Nazi faction. Are they all like that? Hold on. Wow, I didn't even realize that I was stun-locked again. Holy shit, it's bad. Oh, it's bad today, isn't it? It's really, really, really bad today. Let's see. I'm seeing another one right here. Bombing the French. Bye Bye Blackbird. Okay, what song is this? Makin' Whoopee. Oh, they actually produced a lot of songs. It's kind of tough to go through all these. Look at all this. They were prolific. All of this. That's over 100 songs. I guess they were the propaganda ministry backed. Makin' Whoopee is a classic that's been sung by people like Sinatra and Nat King Cole.
The Jews of USA have
I don't think this is the version that Nat King Cole sung, guys. Yeah. I've finally found another musical genre that I like. Nazi swing music.
Another Jewish business trick.
I can't believe this is real. Holy shit. They're such f***ing clowns. Oh my god. This is the art the Gamer Gators want us all to be consuming. Is it a bop, yay or nay? I'd give it a 3.5 stars, better than My Twisted Dark Beautiful Fantasy. Holy shit, that was f***ing funny. Making Whoopi was the classic they ripped off. It's incredibly f***ing funny because there's no subtlety whatsoever. It's perfect for fascists. It's like, how do we make this classic degenerate music serve our motherland? Or no, they said fatherland, right? Our fatherland. The Jews are bad. Yes, Hans. Faster! I'm gonna give myself a f***ing headache. We have to stop this segment right now. Do you remember when this was about the Little Mermaid? Listen, guys, never forget, okay? Under all the terror and all the blood and the violence, okay? Fascists are f***ing ridiculous, okay? Never forget that. No matter how much they try to distract you from it with their dances and their silly uniforms and their massive, massive death counts, nothing can take away from the fact that they are unimaginably silly. They are f***ing ridiculous. They are so stupid. They are so stupid.